The arena pulsed with anticipation. Thousands of voices merged into a deafening roar as the lights dimmed and the spotlight fell upon the ring. This wasn't just a fight. It was a spectacle of pride, power, and redemption. Standing in one corner was a mountain of a man, Akebono. At over 203 centimeters tall and weighing 210 kilograms, he wasn't just a fighter. He was a force of nature. A former sumo grand champion trying to carve a new legacy in combat sports. But recent losses had cast doubt over his journey. Tonight wasn't optional. It was survival. Across from him stood Don Frye, a warrior forged in fire. Known for his fearless style and iron will, had returned after a long and painful absence from the ring. Injuries, setbacks, and inner battles had tested him, but they hadn't broken him. If anything, they had sharpened his hunger. The bell rang. No hesitation, no circling. They charged forward. Fists flew instantly, raw, violent, unforgiving. Frye's punches snapped through the air with precision, landing early and fast. But Akebono didn't step back. He absorbed the blows and surged forward, closing the distance like an unstoppable wave. This wasn't technique. This was survival. Punches echoed through the arena, each one heavier than the last. The crowd roared with every exchange as both men planted their feet and traded. Then came the shift. Akebono's pressure began to build. Step by step, he forced Frye backward, trapping him closer to the ropes. A crushing knee landed. Frye's expression tightened. For the first time, the momentum began to change. The giant wasn't just fighting. He was coming to take over. The first round evolved into a brutal test of endurance. There was no room to breathe, no space to think, only the constant exchange of punishment. Akebono pressed forward relentlessly, using his sheer size to suffocate Don Frye. Every step he took carried weight, real, crushing weight. His punches weren't just strikes, they were collisions. Frye, known for never backing down, stood his ground. He fired back with sharp combinations, his fists still dangerous, still fast, but something had changed. The pressure was getting to him. Akebono's body shots began to land with purpose. Each one chipped away at Frye's stamina. The American warrior's breathing grew heavier, his movements slightly slower. The crowd could feel it. Momentum was shifting. Akebono, once doubted, now looked sharper than ever. His eyes locked onto Frye with relentless focus. This wasn't the same fighter people had written off. This was a man fighting for his last chance. Still, Frye refused to fall. He dug deep, answering with counters, trying to create space, but Akebono wouldn't allow it. The giant closed the distance again and again, forcing the fight into close quarters where his power mattered most. Seconds ticked away. Both men were exhausted, but neither would break. As the round came to an end, sweat poured, chests heaved, and the tension inside the arena reached its peak. The bell rang, but there was no relief, because everyone watching knew the war was far from over. And in the next round, something had to give. The final round began with urgency. There was no time left for hesitation, no room for mistakes. Everything, pride, redemption, legacy, hung in the balance. Akebono surged forward once more, throwing jabs that snapped against Don Frye's guard. Some broke through. One landed clean. Frye stumbled. The crowd erupted. This was the moment Akebono had been waiting for. His chance to silence the doubters. His chance to reclaim his path. He pressed harder, driving Frye toward the ropes, unleashing everything he had left. Punch after punch, fueled by desperation and belief. But Don Frye refused to disappear. Even as exhaustion took hold, even as his body slowed, his instincts remained sharp. Years of experience guided him through the chaos. And then, one opening, one mistake. Frye saw it. In an instant, he changed levels and shot forward, dragging the massive Akebono down to the canvas. The impact shook the ring. Everything changed. On the ground, Size meant less. Technique meant everything. Frye moved quickly, securing position. His arms snaked around the neck, tight, calculated, unforgiving. A choke. Akebono struggled, but the energy was gone. The war had drained him. Seconds passed, then it was over. Don Frye released the hold and rose to his feet, victorious. Emotion flooded his face, tears mixed with sweat. This wasn't just a win, it was redemption. Across the canvas, Akebono lay defeated, so close to triumph, yet just out of reach. Two warriors entered. The arena fell into a strange silence. Just moments ago, it was thunder, roaring, screaming, shaking with every punch. But now, all that remained was the sound of heavy breathing and the echo of what had just happened. Don Frye stood tall in the center of the ring, his chest heaving, his face covered in blood and sweat. But his eyes told the real story. This wasn't just victory, this was survival. After a year and a half away from the fight game, through pain, doubt, and battles no one could see, he had returned and conquered. Slowly, the realization hit him. His expression cracked, and then the tears came. Not weakness, but release. Because only fighters understand what it costs to stand in that ring and refuse to fall. Across from him lay Akebono, the giant who had come so close to rewriting